The Braves' final homestand at Turner Field and our farewell to the TED are brought to you by Georgia's best Chevy dealers. It's a beautiful night for baseball. It's Game 3. The Braves go for a sweep over the Fightin' Phils as our long goodbye to Turner Field continues here in Atlanta, Georgia tonight. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe, welcome back to the ballpark. What a splendid September it has been for the Braves, and it continued last night. Another offensive barrage with the Braves scoring 12 more runs in a Game 2 rout.
And again, up and down the lineup, a lot of different contributors. That's why selfie night here at the ballpark was such a big deal. There's a lot of heroes going on at Turner Field right now with the Atlanta Braves. And last night, Dansby Swanson, Matt Kemp, Freddie Freeman. Of course, Freddie extending his hitting streak to 30 games. And how about Rio Ruiz, his first big league hit? Of course, it was an extra base hit, a triple. So things are going really well for the Braves right now. So good, in fact, that when you look at the Braves' all-time record in September offensively, this Atlanta team is best in average, on base, and runs per game. Can you believe that? Second in slugging. These guys have really gotten it turned around.
And yes, it is a lot of fun to broadcast the Braves the way they're playing right now. We're going to step aside, take a break, continue with our long goodbyes. Some more great memories of Braves baseball at Turner Field. That and more as we continue with our second segment before Game 3 of the series right after this.
Crushed deep to right, and there it is. 400 career homers.
Andrew turns tail, still going at the wall. He made the catch. What a play!
Swing and drive. Belton right. Welcome to the show.
Struck him out. There it is. Career strikeout number 3,000 for John Smoltz. History in Atlanta. And that ball ticketed for Cooperstown, and someday so's that man.
Well, it's not just the cool late September weather that's giving us goosebumps. Hearing those calls, seeing those plays, those players as we count down the final days of Braves baseball here at Turner Field. A lot of spine-tingling moments, and that was just a handful of what we're going to see the rest of the way here in 2016.
I tell you what, your call on Jason Hayward's first swing still gets me. It was a beauty. And a very exciting moment in front of a sellout crowd. But there's a lot of others.
Yeah, including Eddie Perez, who's going to be the subject of our Coors Timeless Moment. We continue to celebrate the top moments in the history of Turner Field. Eddie Perez, the best-looking man in the ballpark, had one of the best postseason performances in Braves history a few short years ago.
I think in '99, winning the national title. I was the MVP. I think that was my #1. Have to be. You know, I think Smoltz retirements, Maddox, Chipper, Glavine. I think those are special moments. Bobby Cox retirement too. So I got plenty. I might be the only one who has so many because I spent a lot of years in there, and to me that's very special.
Eddie's right. He might have the most experience as far as seeing all of those moments up close and personal as a member of the Braves.
Yeah, and I love it because kind of an unsung hero type. I think of Mike Devereaux and the contributions he made in the postseason. Gerald Williams, some of those guys that weren't the frontline stars, but they made big impacts on the postseason for the Braves along the way, and Eddie was one of the biggest.
So we celebrate and salute Eddie Perez, the Braves' first base coach. Tonight's Coors Timeless Moment. Josh Colmenter's making his way in from the Atlanta bullpen. He's going to try to go 4-0 this season. He gets the ball in a starting assignment next. Boy, has the weather finally broken after a hot, humid Atlanta summer. It feels like, well, October just a few days away, and that's because it is. It's September 29th. Temperature tonight in Atlanta is going to drop into the upper 50s. Some of the fans are bundled up on this chilly night. Breeze blowing from left to right across the ballpark. And the fans got a chance to walk around and parade around on the warning track before the game. As you showed us, Joe, it was selfie day for the fans who came out to Turner Field for the Braves and Phillies Game 3.
Well, it was a good turnout for that, too. And all the players were out taking turns, working their way around the ballpark. So that was a great thing for the fans.
So the Braves take the field behind Josh Colmenter, who's 3-0 between Atlanta and the Diamondbacks. Josh has come in, and he's done a nice job. He's won his first 2 starts as a Brave, and who knows, maybe he's auditioning for an extended role with his Atlanta club as we head and look toward 2017.
No doubt about it. 30 years old, 6'3", 240 out of Homer, Michigan. His last 2 starts with the Braves, outstanding. A 3 ERA, 12 strikeouts in 12 innings, and that includes 7 innings against Miami in his last start, where he only gave up 2 runs. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight. Well, you already know by now he throws a lot of change-ups, and they have been excellent. He'll throw a change off of a change. So his change location, no, don't go anywhere. Just make sure you're spotting that change up in the right places. And as you said, Chip, lasting impressions, his last start, leave a good impression on the Braves staff so that when they start talking about 2017, he's one of the guys that factors in.
Josh, one of 16 different Braves to make a start so far this season. He and Mike Foltynewicz, the only Braves starters above 500 individually this season. Here's the Phillies lineup under Pete Mackanin. The Phillies not scoring runs at all. They're giving them up in bunches. And they had a players-only meeting after the game last night, called by A.J. Ellis and Ryan Howard, who's not in the lineup. The veteran Phillies said, look, we've got 4 more games left to play. Let's try to finish strong, because, Joe, they've been bombarded on this road trip. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games and really haven't been in almost any of those ball games.
Well, remember the last game in New York, they got beat 17-0, I believe it was. They only had 3 hits. They come in here Tuesday night after a day off. They get beat 7-6 after leading 6-0. And then last night hammered 12-2. It hadn't been a very pretty sight.
It has not been. They've been outscored 63-31 on the road trip. The most runs over a 6-game stretch for a Phillies team since 1937. So we'll see what happens tonight as Colementor straight over the top delivers a strike. 72 degrees officially at first pitch, but as the sun dips below the horizon, it'll get much cooler. And that caught it inside corner, says Phil Cuzzy. He's got the plate. 0-2. What makes Colementor so tough? Because as you pointed out in Miami, he's not going to overpower you with his fastball.
I was talking to Larry Anderson of the Phillies broadcast team about that today, and we were talking about that deception of coming more than just over the top, almost from behind his head, has to factor in some way for the deception of the hitters, because it is hard to pick up, and it looks like it's coming in a lot harder than it is.
Hernandez at 293 for the year. Has a 259 mark against the Braves. That one's hit toward right center and playable for Malik Smith, who gets the start for Ender Inciarte tonight. And Hernandez is retired to start the game. 1 out. Different looking defensive lineup for the Braves this evening. You've got Anthony Recker behind the plate, Malik Smith in center, and Rio Ruiz gets his first start. He's at the hot corner tonight. Here's Galvis, the Phillies shortstop, batting .241 and 1 for 8 in the series. Galvis came to town, one of the hotter hitters for the Philadelphia club. He had an 8-game hitting streak snapped here last night when he went 0 for 4. Ground ball towards second. Easy play for Jace Peterson. And that retires Galvis. 2 up and 2 men down. Actually, Galvis was 0 for 3 last night. I beg your pardon. But still, his streak came to an end. But he's 0 for his last 4 with the second out here in the first inning. Here's Odubel Herrera.
An old pal of mine that I played with in Seattle, Glenn Abbott, who's now a minor league pitching coach, once said, you've got to stay out of the gray area if you're a big league pitcher. You throw 84 or below, or you throw 92 or higher, but nowhere in between. And I think Josh Colementor is a good example of making sure you stay out of the gray area by throwing 84 or below.
Well, as you know, for me, staying out of the gray area is very easy to do.
Yes.
But for Colementor, the hitters will tell you that's below hitting speed, right?
Yeah.
That's what that below number means. There's the pitch fouled away. And in today's era of baseball, where everybody's throwing 95 or more, this really is a changeup kind of pitcher.
It definitely is. Hernandez was retired on a 74-mile-an-hour pitch. That last fastball there to Herrera was 75. He's thrown some fastballs right at 84. Fastballs.
No balls, 2 strikes for Herrera. And that's up and away. 1-2 your count. Well, this is a guy, you know, Tom Glavine would love watching pitch. And I believe Tommy's going to join us beginning tomorrow night for the final weekend here at the ballpark.
Right.
1-2 pitch is hit towards short. Braves had him played perfectly. Herrera's retired. Colementor, an easy 1-2-3 top of the first inning. Now the booming bats of the Braves will go to work in the bottom of the first. Continue to boom, as you'll see on our Zaxby's indescribably good play. Look at what the Braves have done over roughly 1/3 of this 2016 season.
Against the NL East, 28-24, 3 games back of the Mets since August 1st. First in all those offensive categories again versus teams in the East. Doing some damage there, and they've got winning records against everybody in the division except Washington.
So you triple those numbers, you're looking at an 84-85 win team as it stands right now.
Yeah.
If that were prorated out over a full season.
Right. Good signs.
So a night off for Ender Inciarte, and a very exciting and different look to the Braves lineup tonight. Mallex Smith is going to lead off. Dansby Swanson's hitting second in front of Freeman, then Kemp, then Markakis. Then you've got record Jace Peterson, Rio Ruiz, and the pitcher.
Yeah, both the guys at the top of the order getting a night off. Against a veteran pitcher, Jeremy Hellickson, 29 years old, 6'1", 190 out of Des Moines, Iowa.
And Hellickson's had a nice year for the Phillies. 12 wins, sub-4 ERA. A name that was talked about a lot at the trading deadline. Obviously, the Phillies didn't move him. And now they have a decision to make at the end of the season as to whether or not to offer him a qualifying offer for next year.
Yeah, his last 17 starts, good numbers. 8-5, a 3.26 ERA. And it may be a contest tonight over who's got the best changeup, because this guy's got a great changeup. Numbers there again from his last 17. Very good. I'm like you, Chip. I'm surprised he didn't get traded.
That's a check swing strike. Stu Surewater rings up Mallex Smith. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Stu, are you sure, Water? Yes, he is.
So break for Hellickson. 2-2 pitch. Is back to the mound, and he'll retire Mallex on a comebacker. And 1 man down. Last start was rough for Hellickson. He gave up 6 runs against the Mets. 2 starts ago, though, he was brilliant. A complete game shutout against Miami, a game caught by A.J. Ellis, who's his battery mate tonight. So he's off to a good start. 1 up, 1 down for Dansby. What's different for Dansby tonight? Hitting in front of Freddie Freeman as opposed to hitting 7th or 8th.
Don't change anything. Just have a good night, have a good time. Might see a few more pitches to hit instead of hitting in front of the pitcher.
Well, Dansby's done his fair share of hitting. 35 hits in his first 34 games. And he enters play tonight at 299 in the batting average column. And he strokes that one toward Herrera in center. Well hit. But Dansby lines out 2 away. And here comes Freddie Freeman. This kid ought to be getting a standing ovation every time he steps to the plate. Freddie Freeman, that is. What an unbelievable second half he's put together.
30 in a row. Only Dan Uggla and Rico Carty have longer streaks in Atlanta history.
And I can't remember, but maybe 3, maybe 4 blue pits for Freeman in this stretch. I mean, everything has been barreled up and hit hard, including a home run here the other night. No balls, hit a strike to him. There's the change. 1-1.
Another thing too has been that it hasn't come down to 1 at bat at the end of the game either. He's getting his hits early, hasn't had to wait for extra innings to get an at bat to get a hit. It's been pretty much pressure free.
And skipped up there. 2 balls and a strike. Freeman's destroyed the Phillies this year. He's hit 6 of his 33 homers against them. He's knocked in 11 runs. Now the 2-1. strike out Ellis and Cuzzy on the way by 2-2.
I know there have been some other hitters that have applied some damage to just one team over the year. I saw Robinson Cano hit a home run yesterday against Houston. I think that's 8 or 9 homers he's hit against the Astros.
And we all know about what that guy's done to the Braves, so turnabout's fair play as far as Freddie Freeman's concerned. The 2-2 is down the line, just foul.
Pitch was down and away, still able to throw some top hand on it and hook it. Fastball sits 89 to 92 on a real good day. 92 for Hellickson. He'll throw a cutter off that too, and that may have been a 89-mile-an-hour cutter right there that got in on him a little bit. That was too. This guy knows what he's doing. He's 12-10. Will be a free agent. Phillies will have to decide if they're going to tender an offer to him, which will be very expensive for a one-year deal next year. I think it's in the $16 million range.
Strike three, pretty pitch over the outside edge, and Freddie Freeman's caught looking to retire the Braves in order in the bottom of a scoreless first.
Sports and outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Nice crowd at Turner Field. Scoreless first inning complete, and it's time to head to our Turner Field trivia question. We're getting it early tonight, and this is a very important question for the brains in the booth. Winner with a 7-9 record with a gigantic asterisk. And yes, which visiting players caught the most innings at Turner Field? You had to do it.
Yep, you make fun of it.
Well, I think I know
who's caught the most pitches, so now it's the most innings.
Well, I think I know who it is. I think yeah. I mean, there's only one guy it could be. First, the pitch to Tommy Joseph. I mean, doesn't it have to be Jose Lobaton? We know he's an excellent receiver of the ball, so why wouldn't you play him? Every chance that the Nationals come to town.
Man.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Did you go home and look it up?
No, but I do still think there should be an asterisk next to that loss last night.
Yeah, I'm with you. But you know how that works, right?
Yep.
We have no shot at all of any kind of an appeal. The record, by the way, is a very unofficial 7 wins for the booth, 9 for the DOT. pitch. Joseph pops it up. Long run for Freeman. The Braves had a shift on. Freddie drifts out. Nobody can get there. It'll drop in safely for a blooper. And that's the first hit of the game for the Phillies first baseman Tommy Joseph.
And to fight it off too. He just dropped his bat in disgust. But nobody plays there.
So Joseph's aboard, and Michael Franco's coming up. He's the Phillies' third baseman.
Carlos Ruiz immediately comes to mind because the Phillies are in town for that catcher.
See if Coleman can get another ground ball. Braves have a shift on for Franco, and that went off the plate. 1 ball, no strikes.
Now last night with a runner at second, less than 2 outs, he was able to hit a ground ball to the right side, and the Braves had to scramble over to get that ball. Castro able to cut it off and throw him out. But he hit it to the right of the mound.
Popped up. And in right field, Nick Markakis is there and makes the catch.
Glad Nick saw it, because I sure didn't.
I was just going to say, this is a tough time of night, isn't it? Baseball just disappeared.
That 2015 vision Nick has comes in handy out there too.
One on, one out for Cody Ashe, the Phillies left fielder. A 131 lifetime hitter against the Braves. 22 hits in 53 career games against the Braves pitching staffs. Ball 1.
That's what he did down in Miami when he pitched so well. He would throw that changeup right to the center of the plate, but dying below the knees by the time it got there.
Tied him up with an 85-mile-an-hour pitch. 2 balls and a strike. Josh threw 11 pitches in the first inning. And his 12th in the second is fouled away. Atlanta's trying to hand the Phillies a 7th consecutive loss head-to-head in the season series. They've pitched to a 6.0 ERA, and they've hit .212 as a team against the Braves in that stretch.
Braves have won the season series already, so that's quite a comeback.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Ooh, that was a strike, wasn't called. Full count.
See 72 on that breaking ball.
Got it that time. Little higher, but Ashe out on strike 4, and that's the first Coleman punch out of the game.
Now that was a good one. Good one to hit. It's just hard for the hitters to make themselves look for it, wait for it, and then go after it.
This is A.J. Ellis, who came over in late August from the Dodgers, a deal that really surprised Clayton Kershaw and the rest of his Dodger teammates. Carlos Ruiz went back in that deal. And Ellis with a 210 mark. Bats here in the second. Pop fly out of play, right side. And Ellis behind, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Grounded right side. Jace to his left. Catcher running. Plenty of time. And Coleman pitches around a leadoff single. Matt Kemp leads off for the Braves. Still no score. And time for our greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. We've got the weekend to look forward to, and perhaps some, well, shall we say, decisions as to who's going to be in and who's going to be out in the National and American League playoff races.
Well, another wrench thrown into things today because Cleveland and Detroit got rained out in Detroit. They waited all afternoon to try to play that game. That game will be made up Monday if necessary because the Tigers are only 1 game back of the Orioles. They come to town to play the Braves over the weekend, needing to sweep the series.
And they'll have Jordan Zimmerman pitching Friday. Verlander's scheduled to pitch Sunday. Don't know who's going to start for them Saturday yet. And the Tigers are hoping they don't have to play Monday.
And if they do, if that's a meaningful game, they'd have to fly back to Detroit, play that game.
A little nubber right in front of the mound. And Hellickson's going to get an easy out.
And then go play a tiebreaker game perhaps, and then go play a wild card game.
And that's the beauty of the wild card. Yes, you can make the playoffs, but there is a rather heavy penalty to be paid if you don't win your division. But Tigers don't care about that at this point. They just want to get invited to the dance and then see what happens. So that'll be a fun series and a big crowd expected all weekend long, every day, every night for the Braves and Tigers. Here's Markakis. Nick's seen Hellickson the most from his days as an Oriole. He's had 49 career at bats against him. And a strike. Nick very quietly has had a really good year for Atlanta. Last year and for the first half of this year, he batted just about every place you could in the lineup. With Matt Kemp's arrival, he has been anchored in that 5 spot, and he's driven in a bunch of runs. In fact, he's tied with Freddie Freeman for the club lead at 88. And that's popped up to short. Galvis drifts out and makes the play. And I say that because Matt Kemp picked up most of his numbers while a Padre.
Both of these pitchers tonight are getting outs in on the hands of the hitters with 85 and 86 mile-an-hour pitches. H.A. Ellis grounded out to second in the top of the 2nd inning here on a pitch in on him because he was trying to sit on the changeup and all of a sudden got something too hard to handle at 85. It's interesting, different, fun to watch.
2 outs for Anthony Recker, who's hitting .282. Anthony's got a hit in his last 3 assignments. 4 hits in total in those 3 games. I'm like you. I love velocity. I like watching guys throw hard. I like seeing big fastballs strike out big hitters. But it really is fun to try to think along with a pitcher like Hellickson and Colmentor or Bartolo Colon, for example, and really watch them pitch to spots. And frankly, let the hitters get themselves out. Hellickson's retired 5 straight. Too tight. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, if you get Syndergaard, Paxton with Seattle's, Fultonevich, any of those guys pitching, it's a heavyweight bout. It's power to power. These are the welterweights. These are the guys that know the sweet science of pitching. And they know that they can't live in the middle of the plate. They also have been around. Both of these guys have been around enough to know how to set up hitters. A couple of catchers working tonight who know how to do that as well.
So a good matchup. 0-0 second inning. And Recker another 3-2 pitch. Galvis at short, can't handle it. A hot smash over his glove. And Recker's aboard, the first Braves base runner. And that'll be scored a hit. And it'll bring up Jace Peterson.
One of the things that makes Hellickson's fastball effective is his extremely slow and deliberate leg kick and delivery, and then zip. He kind of short arms that fastball and tries to get it by you. He did not get it by Recker there.
Two hits for Jace Peterson in the series. Daniel Castro gave him the night off last night. Boy, did Daniel have a good game. 3 hits, 3 RBIs. And a strike. Front and 0-2.
And that's what he wants you to do right there. Expand your zone, and if you're going to do that, then you try to pull the ball as Jace did there. You're doing exactly what he wants you to do.
That one got through the wickets. Ellis couldn't smother it. And Recker moves up on a wild pitch.
He reacted almost like he got crossed up, but just didn't get the glove down in time. Change up. Just a screwball spin on it. Foul pitch.
A hit might mean a run with Recker, the runner at second base. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ellis knocked that one down, and it's even. Braves have 5 left-hand hitters in the lineup. Another one, Rio Ruiz, waits on deck. Poke to the left side. And Franco with a throw to first in time retires Jace Peterson and the Braves. The hits are even and no score as we head to the 3rd inning.
Is sponsored by Delta Airlines and your local Ford dealer.
Beautiful sunset in Atlanta, Georgia. No score after 2 innings. Chip and Joe with you from Turner Field. 4 home games left in 2016. Had a great visit with the champ Evander Holyfield here last night.
Yeah.
As he pulled down the number 5. Not sure who's got the duties tonight. And that'll take place once this game is an official game. As we try to sweep away the Phillies, who've been swept already 9 times this year. Here's Aaron Altair. Hellickson to follow. As Josh Colmenter turns it loose and missed. Well hit towards center. And that ball had a little tailing action on it, but Malik stayed with it. 1 out.
Might have been knuckling a little bit. That was smoked. Nice play by Malix.
Hellickson batting 151, 4 RBIs on the season. Something Pete McCannon's talked about in these waning days of the season is the Phillies' need for 1 or 2 bats. Sounds kind of surprising to think about that with a team that features Ryan Howard, but we've discussed all series long that Ryan's probably in the twilight of his Phillies career. But they enter play, Joe, worst run scoring team in the major leagues, and that's shocking when you consider they play 81 games at Citizens Bank.
Right.
So Matt Clintock, like the Braves and John Coppola, they've got a lot of prospects. What are they willing to give up to get what they need, I guess, is the question this offseason.
Yeah, the corner outfielders have been a disappointment. They haven't had any production there. They're hoping Altair comes back healthy and ready to go for a full season next year. But yeah, they're a little short offensively in some spots.
And I would think that's a tough situation for a GM to be in. The Phillies have some offensive players that had big years at AA. So do you go out and trade for or sign a free agent that might potentially block one of those players 2 years down the road? As that ball by Hellickson is hit to right field, the pitcher aboard with a 1-out single. So we'll see what the Phillies do as Hellickson reaches and turns the lineup over to Cesar Hernandez. Hernandez has done a nice job out of the leadoff spot. .417 on base percentage since the break. And he's hitting close to 300, 293 to be exact at the start of tonight's action. Ball 2.
Just great motion on that pitch. 77 miles an hour, and when he came over the top with it, it looked like it was going to be 177 miles an hour.
Another perfect spot, 2-2.
Yeah, Hernandez's turnaround, he's almost like asking the umpire, "What? How did I miss that again? Was that a strike?"
Do it again. Fouled at the plate. Two hits, 2 walks, a hit by pitch for Hernandez in the series so far. And that one's tipped, but Anthony couldn't hang on.
Fox Tracks there shows you that there's been one pitch at the bottom of the zone. Everything else has been on the inside corner or a little bit off the plate. And nothing's been more than 85 miles an hour, but those are tying him up. Up and in that time at 87.
Best fastball of the night for Cole Mentor. And look at Freddie Galvis making a friend. That's triple play for that youngster right there. Did you see that? He's got the foam tomahawk, he's got the cold Coca-Cola, and he's got a souvenir baseball. Strike 3 at 72 miles an hour.
Curveball. Both strikeouts have been looking perhaps in disbelief.
I mean, watching Josh pitch is like watching your kids go to the batting cages where the ball gets loaded and that arm just slowly comes through and
good call. Iron Mike. Yep. The thing of it is, when he pitched against the Braves for Arizona, I don't remember him pitching like this many off-speed pitches. I thought his fastball, at least in my recollection, was that he was throwing harder.
Didn't he have some shoulder problems to
Yes.
start this year?
Yes.
So maybe that's accounted for a little bit of a loss in velocity.
Well, credit him then for making the adjustment on how he's pitching and his location.
And he's jumped in front of Galvis 0-2, 2 outs. Hellickson's been on first base the whole inning. Galvis. Is that a foul ball or did it hit him?
Well, umpire called foul ball.
Well, he's dropped the bat and he's walking to first base.
No, it obviously hit him in the arm. The umpire threw his hands in the air like a foul ball. Maybe
That's
he
what
was
I
just saying dead ball.
So that prolongs the inning and it brings up Odubel Herrera. Herrera bounced out to Dansby Swanson and is 0 for 1. Two on, 2 out, scoreless game, 3rd inning. And a little bloop. Long run, Dansby. He's not going to get there, and that's going to score a run. So Hellickson comes around to score, and the hit batsman keeps the inning alive, and Herrera with a blooper to left scores the game's first run. It's 1-0 Phillies.
Yeah, not only did it keep it alive, it moved a runner into scoring position to score on this bloop. That was kind of fought off. That's 2 that have been hit where nobody plays.
Joseph had the first one, and he's the man up there now. Tommy Joseph has had an impressive season. 21 home runs for him. And he's had to split time with Ryan Howard. So we'll see if he's shown enough to be the everyday guy at first base if Ryan Howard's not back next year. His 21 homers, the second highest total by a Phillies rookie in the last 45 years. Ryan Howard had 22 homers. Off the screen, a strike. Joseph was originally a second-round pick by the Giants in 2009. Came to the Phillies in the Hunter Pence deal back in 2012. He was a big-time catching prospect, but concussions almost ended his career. Bouncing ball to third. Rio's got it, and the peg to second in time retires the side. Hellickson with a 1-out single came home on a Herrera bloop hit. 1-0 Phillies. They strike first in the 3rd. The third inning, Phillies lead 1-0. Time for our special guest to join us down in the Braves dugout. There he is, the smiling face of the bazooka from Manuka, Mike Fultonevich, proud owner of a 5-game winning streak. How does that sound as you wrap up this 2016 season?
Now that you mention it, I didn't really know I had that going, but that's a very cool note to end the season on.
How'd you feel last night, Mike, in light of not pitching for 16 days? How'd your leg feel?
Last night, the leg wasn't a problem at all. I was just trying to go out there and just, be normal and go out there and pitch my game. And, I had him off balance early, and me and Flo had a good game plan going into it, and we stuck with it. We were aggressive and just keeping him off balance, and it was, it was a pretty nice game to end the season on.
Yeah, you had a good breaking ball last night from the get-go. Well done.
Yeah. Everybody knows, Mike, you have the blazing fastball. We noticed it right away. You seem to be pitching backwards in that game, and as Joe said, your off-speed stuff was excellent. Seems like your last 4 or 5 starts, you've really pitched more than just thrown.
Yeah, and these guys, the Phillies, they're just an aggressive hitting team in general, so I know I had to keep them off balance early. And the last 4 or 5 games, I've just just had that confidence in me, just going out there and staying aggressive, and not backing off a game plan, and just going out there and attacking the zone.
The games over the weekend are not going to factor into anything that the Braves have from a standing standpoint, but they're vitally important to Detroit. Mike,
yeah.
I'm not sure how many pitches you threw last night, but if you were asked to go to the bullpen maybe and be available Sunday, would you be able to do that?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about that at all, but I think we're just still trying to go day by day with it, and to see how my body reacted from yesterday. I haven't been on the mound in a couple weeks there, so we're just going to take it from there and see what happens. Whatever they want me to do, I'll be there for them though.
Mike, I'm sure you're a reflective guy. Let's go back a year and think about where you were and how far you've come. We know all about the thoracic outlet syndrome, the blood clot, which was a horribly serious thing that you had to deal with, all the weight you lost. Now you've come back and you're pitching as well as you ever have in a Braves uniform, and not only have you won the 5 straight games, you lead the team in wins.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And like you said, just last year, I'm just happy to be out on the mound from what happened, and a lot of things could have went differently, but I'm really happy on how they ended up, and just getting back here on the big league mound, and I think around August, I kind of just finally got my weight back and got my strength back, and just went out there and started pitching well. So, but yeah, it's just come a long ways from that. I'm just really, like I said, happy to be back out there.
Mike, we've been talking about the offense for the last couple of months, and we had some graphics tonight to start the game about how this team offensively has set records in September that are better than any time in any September in the history of the Atlanta Braves. From a pitching standpoint, that had to be a big boost for you guys when early in the year you got no run support.
Yeah, even early on in the year, we knew we were going to get runs, and then you later on in the season you throw Matt Kemp on in there, and then this team is just throwing up runs left and right, and like you said, as a pitcher, that's just another boost of confidence going out there, and not knowing if you give up a couple runs, that team's going to have your back, and maybe even get you the lead. So let's go out there and pitch your best, and give it your best 5, 6, 7 innings out there, and the team will have your back.
I got to tell you, you're a patient soul. The Braves offense is hitting a lot of seeds, and you're getting pitched a lot of seeds. Who's wearing you out down there?
That's fine. I don't know. I got
It looks like Julio.
Couple guys down here trying to have some fun, but no worries.
What have you learned most about yourself this year, Mike? You're still a young man. You're still learning how to ply your craft up here in the major leagues. What have you learned? If there's one lesson that you will take into spring training next year that you hope to apply from the opening bell?
There's been just so many in the last 2 years. Like you said, I'm still learning the game, and every bullpen session, is something I'm going to be learning new or trying to fix. And but yeah, it's just trying to go out there every day and pitch your best, and not let the things you can't control hurt you, and just the mental side of the game has been night and day for me. Sometimes I still let my emotions out there come out, but I'm just a competitive guy, and it's going to happen. But just going into next year, not letting teams see you see you sweating out there, and just going out there and pitching, even if you're having a good game or bad game, the same time every time. So it's something I was learning on, and I'm definitely going to get better at it. So,
Mike, what's the general feeling as we head to the last days and the consideration for Brian Snitker? What's the team feel about keeping him around?
He's a great guy. I've known him for 2 years. You know, I've been down there in AAA with him, and you know, it was awesome to see him come back up and take that role. And you know, he's just a great individual, and I think this team would do anything for him, and he, you know, we know he's going to do anything for us. So he's just a great guy, great competitor too, and you know, I'm really happy to see him up here, and you know, hopefully see him next year a little bit.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Malik Smith. Quickly, Mike, what'd you think of the ballpark? You guys had a tour out there a couple of weeks ago. SunTrust.
Yeah, I actually didn't go to that because that was the day after I got hit in the leg, and they said it was a good idea for me to kind of stay back, so I did. But yeah, I mean, the guys said it was an awesome experience, and you know, they just can't wait for it to be done. But yeah, they were, you know, I saw some of the guys taking swings out there on tee, so it looked like a fun time.
2 balls, 2 strikes for Malik Smith. And strike 3. Mike, congratulations on what's been a great year. You're a terrific kid. I'm really rooting for you. Can't wait to see you in spring training, and promise you that we're going to have Julio on tomorrow, and you get a chance to pay him back. Does that sound like a fair deal?
Promise me that, yeah. No
All
problem.
right.
Thanks,
Mike,
thanks
congrats on a great season. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
The Bazooka from America, Mike Fultonevich. It's 1-0 Phillies after 3. Phillies, Jeremy Hellickson pitching a shutout. He scored the game's lone run, and Mike got a shot in.
Yeah, he did. He got a pinch in.
Michael Franco is the bat. This is a pretty close-knit group, isn't it?
It seems to be a very close clubhouse. And when you think about it, there is a good mixture of guys who have been around, some veterans. You think about Kemp and Freeman, Tyler Flowers, Markakis, good leaders all.
Jim Johnson,
Anthony Recker's been around. So there's a good mixture of guys who have been at this level for quite a while.
That's a long run for Nick, and it'll bounce on the warning track and up against the fence for a strike. 0-2.
It's often been said, and it's been said by pitchers who we've had up here in the booth with us on occasion, maybe Tommy, I don't want to put words in Tommy Glavine's mouth, but that it's hard for the quote-unquote leader of a ball club to be a pitcher, because he's only a starting pitcher who's only out there every 5 days. And that usually falls on the shoulders of a position player, whether it was Chipper Jones or David Justice or others that playing every day. That's an easier role to have. So to have that many veteran players playing every day makes a difference too.
1-2 for Franco. Nobody on or out. And that one's chopped right up the middle and right into the hands of Jace Peterson. Braves have had Franco shifted very well.
I mean, this whole series have had the Phillies. They've taken away a lot of hits right up the middle from these guys.
So Colemanter happy about that. Here's Ashe, who struck out looking his first time up. Braves are having a spectacular September. They're 15-9 this month. They've won 9 of their last 10 games. The Phillies heading and trending in the opposite direction. They are 10-15 this month.
Well, it's almost a reversal of these two teams. Phillies got off to that great start, and these two teams have flip-flopped on how they started and finished. 74 off the end of the bat.
And if you have your choice, I think you would obviously much rather be doing what the Braves are doing, finishing strong, ending what's been a rough season in a positive fashion, get everybody in a good frame of mind to make the changes you need to make and go into spring training with a whole lot more optimism than I think we all agree we had at the start of this year.
Well, I don't want to be critical of the Phillies because I don't know how they feel about their team at this point. But they still have, as you pointed out earlier, they got a lot of question marks. They've got some real good starting pitchers to bank on for next year, at least 3 that are real solid. But beyond that, there's probably going to be a lot of jobs open up come spring training. Whereas with the Braves, with what they've done offensively, this lineup has become real solid. And it's just a matter of going to spring training and the opposite, finding pitching. And who are they going to be?
Blooped foul down the left field line, and Ashe will swing again. Yeah, for the Phillies, who's going to catch, I guess? Who's going to play first base? And 2 corner outfielders, right?
Yeah.
And you got to figure Herrera is going to be their center fielder. He's an all-star.
Yeah, Herrera, Franco, and Galvis, you figure are going to be the guys for sure.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And it just missed. Matt Clintock is the general manager of the Phillies. Andy McPhail is their president of baseball operations. Those are 2 very smart people. They'll figure it out. Money will be no object. The Phillies have a gigantic TV deal. I would imagine, like the Braves, after the 2017 season, when they're supposed to be one of the best free agent classes in recent memory, the Phillies will probably be diving into that. Popped up left side, Swanson and Ruiz. It'll be Dansby, and Ashe's retired on a pop out, 2 away. It's one of those games where, as a hitter, I say this with no disrespect, but there's so many batters that are hitting the ball with the old expression, like with the wet sporting news, because you have to supply all the power.
It's not that, Chip, as much as it is where they're hitting the ball, and that's what it makes sound like a wet sporting news. It's just somewhere around the brand or off the handle. Nobody's barreling up anything because their timing is so messed up.
Ellis took a shot at right again, fouled it away, and he's behind. Stevie, right 1.
Chan handed me a scouting report on Colemanter when I said, you know, I thought it seemed like he used to throw harder, but even back when he first signed, scouts were saying, you know, it's not often that a guy who throws 85 to 88 is considered a prospect. So he was never a blazer by any means.
And like the weather tonight, in my opinion, oh so refreshing to see. And that can really pitch. And he hits a spot there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
See, that's just guessing wrong. You know, they're trying to sit back and wait and wait and wait on the changeup, and then he throws 84, bottom of the zone. Good pitch to hit. Guessed wrong.
Makes you wonder why, with Cole Mentor's velocity below hitting speed, why nobody moves to the front of the box. 2-2. Little bloop down the first base line. That one's curling foul, though.
I swear they're going to have to either get the infielders to back up or the outfielders to move in.
A couple of hit 'em where they ain't specials so far for the Phillies. 2 of their 3 hits, as a matter of fact, have been that way. That one's well struck, and Markakis in right is there to retire the side. 3 up, 3 down. First perfect inning for Cole Mentor since the first. Dansby leads off the Atlanta 4th, down a run. The final days here at Turner Field, and the Phillies are very happy to help the Braves redecorate the radio booth. A little late season remodeling by your buddy, the one and only Larry Anderson. And I think each one of those programs represents a soft hit ball in the game tonight.
Oh, they're killing me.
Larry and his partner Scott Fransky on the Phillies radio network. 2 great guys. We have a lot of fun with them. And Larry was Joe's former teammate years ago.
One of the best ever. A lot of fun and still hilarious.
So we'll keep track of the Joe-o-meter in the, the Phillies booth as we continue with the bottom of the 4th. Dansby Swanson lined out. Freddie Freeman struck out. Matt Kemp hit a comebacker. As Hellickson's the only Philly to have scored a run tonight. And he's the man on the mound.
Oh, it's kind of funny. He's one of the only guys to hit the ball hard.
Right.
Pitcher speed. When you watch Hellickson from the windup, he picks up his left leg pretty high, but there's no real rush from there to go to the plate. It's kind of like he collects himself at the top of the leg kick, drops his leg, and then strides to the plate. It's very deliberate. Almost Kershaw-like, and I don't think he has a toe tap like Clayton does when he comes down from his leg kick, but pretty close as he glides across the top of the mound, the slope of the mound, right there. Oh, he did touch. He did touch.
Well, it's a big inning for Hellickson. He gets 2 more outs. He'll set a new career high in innings pitched. He's gone 3 innings of 1 hit shutout ball so far. And he just struck out Dansby Swanson, his 4th strikeout. And he's retired the last 3 Braves hitters in a row with a strikeout.
There's a lot of value in a guy who takes the ball every turn. This is his 32nd start. He's going to pitch close to 200 innings.
And I wonder if Hellickson hurt himself making that pitch.
Just as I was saying, there's value in taking every turn and pitching a lot of innings. Not much of a follow through there.
And he was looking into the dugout immediately.
Yeah, and waved him out.
And Pete McCannon makes his way back to the dugout. I wonder if Hellickson's going to be allowed to continue.
What a shame this late in the season.
And that's not a good sign when the bullpen phone gets picked up.
Well, this is a little bit
Wow.
like Tuesday night when Eichhoff was pitching so well, and then he got knocked out because of a long rain delay.
Wow. So Hellickson needed 1 more out to set a career high in innings pitched. He makes the strikeout pitch and is leaving with some sort of a problem. And he will depart after 3 1/3 innings of 1 hit shutout baseball. And now the Braves find themselves in the flammable Phillies bullpen. We'll see how it works out right after this. Winner Jeremy Hellickson trying to end the Phillies' miseries on the road after throwing a pitch that struck out Dansby Swanson. Hellickson looked into the Phillies dugout. Something was amiss, and trainer came out, and he's out of the game. And that'll bring on Colton Murray, who will have as much time as he needs to loosen up. He was not throwing, with Hellickson throwing this 1 hit shutout through 3 innings and 1/3 this year, or this evening, I beg your pardon.
You see his numbers for the year. He started the year in the big leagues with these guys and got off to a great start. First 10 games he had a 1.38 ERA. His last 12, however, after getting sent down in June, was 10.80. 2-2 at Lehigh Valley. with a 2.95 ERA. Fastball, curveball, fastball in the low to sometimes mid-90s.
Well, this is where the miseries have really piled up for the Phillies. Their bullpen has been just torched. 22 of their last 25 pitchers, including starters, have been scored upon, including 16 of the last 17. Since Saturday, the Phillies bullpen has allowed 14 of 17 inherited runners to score. And on this road trip alone, the Phillies team ERA has gone up from 4.42 to 4.63. Think how hard that is to do this time of year.
That's a lot.
Yeah, their bullpen ERA in this stretch has gone up almost a full half run.
Well, I hope it's nothing serious for Hellickson, because he's had a terrific year for the Phillies. He's going to be a free agent. The last thing he wants or needs is to have something somewhat debilitating heading into free agency.
So Murray will continue to loosen up. And when he's ready to go, the first man he'll face is Freddie Freeman, then Matt Kemp.
That was funny. Ball in the dirt. A.J. Ellis got a new baseball from Phil Cuzzy, so he's throwing the other one out. He was throwing it over toward the ball boy for the Braves, but he saw Freddie, so then he whistled one right at Freddie. Pretty hard that Freddie had to catch barehanded.
So Murray's just about ready. Mentioned earlier tonight, the Tigers and Indians were rained out. Detroit now on their way to Atlanta to open up a series here tomorrow evening. We mentioned that Jordan Zimmerman was scheduled to start the ball game tomorrow. That's not going to be the case now. With the rain out, the Tigers will start Daniel Norris Friday night. Jordan Zimmerman's going to be bumped back to Saturday. Justin Verlander is going to pitch the Sunday season finale, and all the games around Major League Baseball are scheduled to start at the same time, 3:10 Eastern Time. So Murray says he's ready. The Phillies hope their bullpen is ready. They're going to have to work overtime again tonight, and they've been worked over in September.
About a .302 average against them. That'll add up some earned runs for you. Tons of walks. So a chance for the Braves to do what they did Tuesday night, and that is, after getting into the bullpen following the rain delay, catch up and win the game.
So the champ and the chot gets going as Freddie Freeman digs in with one out and nobody aboard here in the fourth. First pitch swing and a drive to center, but playable for Herrera, and he's got it. 2 outs. And here's Matt Kemp. He was fooled with something off speed and tapped back to the mound. All right, from a hitter standpoint, Murray throws harder than Hellickson. Is that a big deal, big adjustment for these guys first time around, or does it matter at all?
I don't think so. I think they're more used to guys throwing low to mid 90s than they are mid 80s.
One ball, no strikes. Washington won today. They beat Arizona 5-3 is the final. That's up and in, 2-0. Dusty Baker said today it's unlikely that Daniel Murphy will start a game the rest of the way for Washington, as he has a strained muscle in his backside.
His buttock.
Yes. Forrest.
And Bryce Harper didn't start today again either.
Thumb problems for Harper, and they've had lots of wet weather up east. Swing and a miss, which might impact the Red Sox weekend series. Who the heck does Boston play?
Toronto.
The final weekend. So here's a question. Let's say Saturday's game is rained out. Would they play a doubleheader Sunday? And if so, would the first game start at 3:10 like all the other ones and then play the second one if necessary? Guys on the TV crew were talking about that before the game. How does that work?
Yeah.
Stop, and Kemp walks with 2 outs. The Phillies will wrap up their regular season at home against the Mets. And again, New York is the wild card leader right now by a game and a half over the Giants. And the last thing the Mets want to have to deal with is potential rain issues as they try to solidify their positioning and their playoff status.
But it continues. As you see Nick's numbers over his last 17 games, 13 RBIs. Great work.
Those are our Home Depot tools from the dugout. Nick's done a ton of damage with 2 outs. Let's see if he can connect here and get the game tied at the least.
And he's 2 for 3 in his career off Murray.
Ball 1.
He has only 3 hits against Murray, limited at bats against him. A.J. Brzezinski had the other.
Line drive over short. That's going to get down for a hit. Ashe cuts it off. And Kemp will stop at second. Markakis with another 2-out hit. And that'll bring up Anthony Recker. Good thing Ashe got to that ball. Otherwise, Kemp might have had a shot to come home.
A low liner. You know, going back to something we talked a little bit about last night, aside from Boston, who really went on a tear and won 9 or 10 in a row, whatever it was here in the last 10 days, nobody else has played lights out. I mean, all these contending teams, and I know some of them are playing each other, but nobody's even gone on a 7-3 tear over their last 10. Everybody's 5-5, 6-4 at best.
Yep, it's kind of almost September weary.
Yeah, just middling numbers. Makes you wonder who wants it and who's got enough left in the tank to finish it. See what the Phillies are looking at here on the relay back to second base. Matt Kemp, did he get back to the bag before they tagged him?
Ooh. They looked at it, but maybe not enough for the Phillies to challenge.
Tom Allen recreating the step back to the bag.
Recker has the first of the Braves' 2 hits. See if he can bring home Kemp. Going away.
Galvis's throw to the bag at second base reminds me of Andrelton Simmons pulling something like that.
Murray missed again. 2-0. Cardinals are winning tonight. That is a critical game for St. Louis. They lead 2-1 over the Reds.
Boy, did they blow some opportunities last night.
Man, there was a runner at third, nobody out in the 9th, and couldn't get the run home to tie it.
Right.
That shaved a corner. It's Dan Straley, 14-8. And Alex Reyes for the Cardinals, he's 4-1. He's the kid with the big right arm for St. Louis. Cardinals are a game behind the Giants for the second wild card.
Pretty good pitch there. Good take. Good hitters count. Get a pitch you want. Shrink your zone. Tie it up.
Three balls and a strike. Here it is. Recker walks. Bases are loaded. There's your Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
As we mentioned, the Braves with a winning record in the East against every team except the Nationals. How about that? Granted, the Nationals owned them, but the Braves did more than just hold their own against everybody else.
No place to put Peterson as that one caught a corner. Strike one.
Jace had a couple of hits here 2 nights ago, and one of them I remember went through the hole on the left side, hit sharply, and looked like he tried to go that way on Hellickson his last time up on an off-speed pitch.
Pretty pitch there. Now Jace in a deep hole, 0-2.
Fastball, curveball guy, and that was a good curve. A lot of room up the middle.
Kemp, Markakis, and Recker, the runners from third to first. And a good stop by Ellis evens the count. So this is as far as Murray wants to go. As the count now 2-2. Tipped and caught, and Peterson strikes out, and the Braves leave them loaded in the 4th inning. We head to inning number 5. The remodeling career of Larry Anderson and Scott Franzke continues in the Phillies booth, and they enjoy a 1-0 lead.
Baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Braves had a great chance with 2 outs in the 4th inning. Couldn't push across the tying run. Now we head to the 5th with Altair, Murray, and Cesar Hernandez up against Josh Colmenter, who's pitching a good ball game. He's given up just 3 hits. Only one of those hits was a hard hit ball. And that was by Jeremy Hellickson, the Phillies pitcher, who scored the only run and has since departed due to what we presume to be an injury.
You know, with no sign of him flexing his arm or trying to stretch his back or legs out, I wonder if he's just feeling bad, or if he just got sick.
There's a hard hit ball by Altair, a leadoff single. And now Colton Murray's going to come up and probably try to lay down a bunt.
I'll say this for Altair. He doesn't, his average is under 200 coming into the game tonight. But he does have a couple of hits in this series, now 3 hits in this series, and he's hit some balls hard on the button at people, especially at some guys right up the middle.
Didn't he make his debut this year against the Braves and hit a home run?
Right here.
Wrist problems were the issue for Altair this year.
I think in spring training he got hurt.
So he's trying to make sure everything's in working order here in the late days of the season.
Well, he can do a lot of things. He can run too. Stole a base here earlier in the series too. First AB.
Oh, and 2. And his first AB results in a strikeout. 1 on, 1 out.
Number 3 for Colmender.
And back to the top, and Cesar Hernandez. He struck out his last time up.
3rd inning, 22 pitches. That was the inning they scored their run after Hellickson got the 1-out single.
There's a bunt try. Rio sniffed it out. Throw to first. Close play and in time. A long discussion on the top step of the dugout with Pete McCannon as Hernandez made his way to the on-deck circle. So that might have been called by the Phillies skipper. It is a sacrifice. And Galvis will hit with a runner at second and 2 out.
Good job there of Rio making his voice heard and getting Colmenter out of the way. Good throw.
So Galvis has grounded out and has been hit by a pitch. On 1. Baltimore's jumped in front in Toronto. 2-0 Orioles. That game is in the 5th inning.
Big win for them last night, coming from behind late.
Ubaldo Jimenez and Marcus Stroman, the pitchers tonight north of the border. Bouncing ball up the middle. Jace to his right. Dives. Kept it on the infield. Runner around third. Throw back to third. They've got Altair to run down. Rio dishes to Recker, and the inning is over.
Heads up play by Jace.
He kept the ball in the infield, and Altair took too big a turn around third, and the Phillies run themselves out of the 5th inning. And a perfect end to the inning. Bottom of the 5th coming up, still 1-0 Phillies.
As we head to the bottom of the 5th inning, Rio Ruiz set to lead off this inning for Atlanta. So a night after picking up his first big league hit, which was a triple, he's going to pick up his first big league start. Now, I asked Brian Snitker what we can expect to see for the starting baseman at third next year. He said he thinks Adonis Garcia has earned the right offensively and defensively to go into next season, assuming he will have that opening day role, and that Rio just has to take the mindset that he just has to earn a spot. But he said the worst that could happen is he goes back down to AAA, which isn't a bad thing. He's only 22 years old. His career is just starting out, and the Braves hope he is a big part of their future.
Yeah, Kelsey, Rio had a nice year with Gwinnett. 133 games, hit 10 homers, drove in 62, 24 doubles, hit 271.
Very solid for a guy just 22 and in his first year at AAA.
And that's something the Braves are very proud of, too. I mean, they've put kids, and I say kids not lightly. I mean, we're talking 22-year-old kids playing AAA, 18-year-olds playing high A ball. I mean, they have really, shall we say, force-fed some of these youngsters at higher levels than is customary in other places, and they've more than held their own. And Rio certainly chapter and verse on that.
I'd say they've really placed a lot of confidence in them that they would be able to hold their own at that level.
First full inning for Murray, who had to work overtime last frame, and he got Rio to swing and miss, his second strikeout in a row, and one away for Josh Colmenter, one out in the 5th. Josh struck out back in the 3rd inning. Josh comes from a good named town if you're a hitter.
Yeah.
A pitcher, not so much. He's from Homer, Michigan.
I know he's taller and all, but doesn't he remind you a little bit of Mike Hampton standing up there right-handed when he's got his helmet on?
Mm-hmm. I'd like him to hit like Mike right now.
If he could, yeah, if he could figure that out.
bonus. Mike's from Florida, but I think Mike moved to Arizona. I think the last I heard he was living out in the Phoenix area.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Need to get him back here for some of the Braves alumni functions.
Yeah, Jeff Blauser too.
Yeah.
He would have been a perfect guy to pull the number 4 down. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And out of play. At the knees, strike 3. And 3 strikeouts in a row for Murray. 2 outs for Malik Smith, the Braves leadoff man. Tonight he's 0 for 2. Malik will come to spring training next year with a chance to win a job.
.181 at bats this year for Malix coming into this game tonight. I'd like to see him consider playing winter ball if he hasn't already. He may already be committed. I don't know, but some more at bats this winter would certainly not hurt him at all.
Yeah, the shame of it for Malix was he missed 77 games, and he was playing so well at the time of getting hit on the thumb and fractured that thumb. Scored 21 runs in 43 games, hit .272, drove in 16 runs, stole 12 bases. I mean, we saw an extended glimpse of what this kid can do.
Got some ABs over the last 3 days playing for each of the outfielders. Showed you some versatility there in all 3 spots. But the plan tomorrow, as I understand it, is that all hands on deck. Garcia back at third, Inciarte back in center.
Yeah, the Braves are going to go with their A lineup and respect the game, as it were, and play it straight up with a lot on the line for the Tigers. A chopper hit toward Franco, plays the hop, fields and fires. Strong arm, got him. Good play, and it's 3 up, 3 down for the Braves in the 5th inning. Phillies lead by the slimmest of margins, 1-0. Boom at Turner Field tomorrow night with the largest and longest fireworks display ever. For more information, go to Braves.com/final countdown and get all the details. You don't want to miss it. The Tigers will be in town. Detroit tried to chase down a playoff spot, and you'll have a chance to see one of the greatest hitters in the history of the game. Miguel Cabrera will be coming to town for Brad Ausmus's club.
He's tearing it up too. Talk about clutch down the stretch. Who is better than Miguel Cabrera?
Hit a home run yesterday that gave the Tigers the lead in what then became an official game, and it was a rain-shortened, rain-out win for the Tigers. As Herrera flies out, one man down. I heard a story years ago, and I'm going to have to ask Miguel and see if he can confirm it. I heard a rumor that years ago, when he was a 16, 17-year-old kid in Venezuela, that he was a huge Braves fan, and that the one team that he really wanted to sign with and play for was the Atlanta Braves. But he wanted to sign and play third base. One problem: Braves already had a pretty good guy that was going to play third base for them, and that was Chipper Jones.
As it turned out, so did the Marlins. He had to play left field, remember, when he first came up for the Fish. And Mike Lowell over there.
He did all right. Now he's moved across the diamond to play first base. And no matter where he plays, he can flat out hit. There are some who have said that Manny Ramirez was the best right-hand hitter of his generation. Albert Pujols gets a lot of votes. Edgar Martinez got a lot of votes. Got to put Miguel Cabrera in that list too, as he went over the 2,500 hit mark earlier this year for the Tigers. Joseph pops one up. And shallow center, Malik Smith is there with the wind blowing out toward right, 2 away.
Good crowds the last 2 nights. Tonight was selfie night. Last night, anybody that wanted to could run the bases, and I mean anybody. After the game, if you want to run the bases, including Miss Winger, microphone in hand, in her high heels, getting lapped by the field. Nice turn at the bag. Way to go, Kelsey. Had a girl.
Now, Kelsey did a great job, unlike one unfortunate couple who made all the highlight shows last night. Did you see that? Boyfriend, girlfriend running the bases. The gentleman's in front, turns around. He's got his camera going. He's taking a selfie, or he's taking a video picture of his girlfriend behind him, and he trips and eats dirt, and she steps right over the top of him. Doesn't even offer assistance.
Right,
she scores the winning run. It was great. Jerome and the guys had that on the post-game show last night. It was spectacular. I mean, this poor guy, this is a moment of a lifetime.
Well, thank goodness Kelsey didn't get caught up in that traffic jam.
I mean, fans were shocked. What happened to little Al in the chicane? That guy went sprawl. I mean, look at this. He's
Make a
waving.
face at me. Uh-oh. That is great.
A pile up in turn 4. As this ball's hit toward third. Nice play by Rio and a strong throw. He read that hop very well. And Colementor has a 1-2-3-6. Swanson, Freeman, and Kemper coming up. Let's get somebody around third and get this thing tied.
Dansby Swanson will lead things off. There are a couple more members of our great Fox Sports crew rounding third and headed for home.
Well, it couldn't come soon enough for Gumby out there in the lead. Yeah. he's still checking himself out.
A great idea by the Braves. Let everybody run the bases. They promised a surprise every night. That was one of them.
Stage manager last night, Karen, she hit that third base bag on the corner. She was leaning.
Karen was determined. She's getting ready for a big football weekend. There is no bigger Clemson Tiger fan than Karen Shannon. She's getting ready for the Tigers in Louisville. There she is. What a lovely lady. Downstairs, 2 balls and a strike.
Well, it's just a sampling of how great our crew is, up and down. How lucky you and I are to have such good people showing us good pictures all the time and getting us on the air and off the air and making it look so good.
I was going to say, if they can make us look good, just think how good they must be.
Soft focus is a wonderful thing.
Jerry Krause
chair out there 457 feet from home plate.
Three balls and a strike. And a high fly ball hammered deep toward left at the track at the wall. It is gone. It might have been deflected over the wall, but who cares? It's a home run and the game is tied.
He ambushed one again, Chip. 3-1 count. Fastball in. My goodness, that ball wasn't even a strike. Up and in. And barreled it up. Off the top of the padding.
Yeah, I saw that pseudo jump and I thought maybe he got a glove up, but nope. Right off the top of the wall. The first home run as a Brave for Dansby Swanson. And we're tied at 1 apiece.
You know, Dansby might hit another one next time up. He might hit one tomorrow night. But I'm so happy for him. Ow. Bad hop there, buddy. I'm so happy for him that before this ballpark gets closed out that he got one here.
Ground ball into the shift. And that'll take care of Freddie Freeman, who, by the way, it's getting late for Freddie, trying to extend that 30-game hitting streak and 46-game on-base streak. Tonight, Freddie is 0 for 3. That put out 6-3. It was Galvis, the shortstop, that made the play.
But again, when this ballpark's long gone and years down the road, when Dansby Swanson is coming to near the end of his career in 20 years, you can always tell everybody he also homered in this ballpark in Atlanta.
So the Braves have tied it up 1 apiece. Bouncing ball foul at third by Kemp. Strike one.
Chipper's first full year in the big leagues was '95 over in the old ballpark. So he put numbers up over there before the rest of his career was finished here. He got a nice ring that year too.
Matt didn't get a fastball there. It's 0-2. A run on 5 hits for the Phillies, a run on 3 hits for the Braves. Dansby Swanson just tied it with a leadoff homer. We're in the 6th. The Braves are trying to sweep the Phillies out of town. Popped up right side. And a fan from College Park will end up with that souvenir. No balls, 2 strikes. Good swing by Matt, but fouled it back. And a swing and a miss. Murray's had a good fastball tonight. That's his 4th strikeout.
Yeah, a few more strikeouts tonight for Braves hitters. That's 8 total.
And Markakis the batter with 2 men out. Braves with 1,210 strikeouts this year.
It's a few more than last year.
But it's the 4th lowest total in the league. So by and large, the Braves have put the ball in play better than their peers. But it hasn't translated until recently into a lot of runs. The Braves are next to last in runs scored. Only the Phillies are worse. The Phillies have been outscored, by the way, by 180 runs this year.
Well, about 70 of that's been over the last week.
Right? Right. Good point. The Braves have been outscored by 132 by comparison. See if Nick has a green light. 3-0. He's 1 for 2. And he takes a walk. That one all the way to the backstop. Ellis barely got leather on it. 3rd walk for Murray to go with 4 strikeouts and the game tying Swanson homer.
Well, he got some trouble after he came in with 1 out in the 4th inning. He got an out and then a walk, a hit, and a walk loaded him up. Maybe the Braves can put together another 2-out threat.
I wonder if that young man's going to give the ball up to Dansby.
Very happy young guy.
If he does,
work out a swap.
If he does, you know what Dansby's going to ask in return?
No.
He's going to make that Georgia fan put on a Vandy shirt. Wind has picked up. It has cooled off noticeably. Feels like the wind's almost blowing straight in, so it might be tough for the Braves to hit one out.
I thought Dansby's was a no-brainer, and it hit the top of the padding, so wind obviously had an effect on it.
Fouled off the plate, still 0-2. Getting word now on why Jeremy Hellickson left. The Phillies starter pitched 3 1/3 innings of 1 hit ball. He left with a right knee sprain.
I wonder if he heard it running the bases. He was out there a long time that inning. Scored on that blue pit, remember? Could have hit the bag at third a little funny. Who knows?
Fans have the wave going. 0-2 the count for Recker. The pitch is strike three called. Upper reaches to the strike zone. And Colton Murray has his 5th punch out of the game. However, Dansby Swanson is on the board here in Turner Field. He turned on that fastball up and in. His first home run and 3rd of the year. And after 6, we're tied at 1.
We started looking at some video. Our folks down in the truck found this when Hellickson was at second base doing a little stretching on that right knee. No signs of anything that might have happened between home and second, and no signs when he tried to score really favoring that right leg. So hopefully nothing serious as you watch him here score the Phillies' only run of the night.
So Josh Coleman enters 6 innings of 5-hit ball. Swanson's homer has him even in the game, and he heads to the 7th. And coming off a 7-inning 2-run performance against the Marlins in his last start. He's got Ashe, Ellis, and Altair coming up. And that one off the end of the bat. Skied toward left, and Matt Kemp puts it away. Ashe retired quickly. He's 0 for 3, 1 out. .94 pitches for Coleman. He threw 94 in his first Braves start, 106 in his last start.
And he's due up third in the bottom half of this inning. So being able to get through 7 again would be a really nice thing.
Ball 1 to A.J. Ellis. And Kroll has joined Jose Ramirez in the Braves bullpen. Way outside, ball 2.
Just had a flashback watching that ball squib away from Anthony Recker, and the ball boy hustled over and got it. Speed things along. Ball boy brought more baseballs to the umpire. in my head, I was thinking Norman, Oklahoma, playing American Legion ball, and each team would bring 2 baseballs to the game and supply them to the umpire. Foul balls would go over the stands and into the street and across the street into somebody's hedge. Somebody had to go get it. Sometimes the game would be held up while everybody's looking for a baseball.
2-2. Line drive right field. Markakis will play it safe. And Ellis has his first hit of the night. A 1-out single.
Not to mention pitches that got by the catcher, or wild pitches that the catcher had to go to the backstop and get the baseball and bring it back.
So I would imagine by the end of those games, what looked like a pearl was like something your Labrador Retriever had played with for a week.
I want to tell you, Don Sutton could make that thing sing Dixie.
There's Don.
That man can make a ball do magical things.
Just low for Altair, who ran into a big out at the end of the Phillies' 5th. Diving stop by Jace Peterson on an infield hit by Galvis. Altair took 2 wide at turn at third. Braves threw behind him, and Rio Ruiz threw to Recker to end the Phillies' 5th. This one's popped up left center field. Long run. Mallix, he's going to get there. And there's the second out. So Ellis back to first. 2 are away. And this is Darren Ruff. And Roger McDowell is out for a visit. That'll buy a little more time for the Braves bullpen. And Roger will talk things over with Cole Minter, who's done great work again tonight so far. .42 games now for Ruff. Only a .198 average. Couple of homers. And 81 at bats. He bats for Colton Murray, who went 2 2/3 innings of 1-run ball. 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, and 2 hits.
Yeah, he did a nice job and gave up a home run on a pitch that was up and in and out of the zone.
So one of the game's most feared hitters on Bark in the Park night is in the batter's box. Darren Ruff. Last year hit .235 with the Phillies, 12 homers, 268 at bats. He's no kid. He's 29. Actually just turned 30. Out of Omaha, Nebraska. 2-1. He had some big minor league numbers,
especially at Reading, wasn't it?
Yeah, 38 homers in 2012. They've got a couple of other kids that had numbers like that this summer. An outfielder, Dylan Cousins, who hit 40 homers, and a first baseman, Rhys Hoskins, who hit 38. So maybe some of the Phillies' offensive needs will be supplied by their own system.
Cole Minter scuffling a little bit this inning with some control, getting the ball down, so he went softer, dropped it down to 75 miles an hour, got a swing and a miss.
And another swing and a miss takes care of Ruff, and the fighting Phils in the 7th. Josh Cole Minter, another terrific performance. Let's see if the Braves can push across a run in the home 7th after the stretch. Cardinals are trying to win their 83rd game. That would tie them with the Giants. The Giants play later on tonight at home against Colorado. John Gray against Johnny Cueto, who's looking for his 18th win for San Francisco.
This is Michael Marriott on the pitch for the Phillies, his 23rd game. High ERA. 12 walks in 19 innings, but a bunch of strikeouts. Fastball in the low to mid 90s with a slider. Seven, 8, and 9 due up for the Braves.
First appearance for Marriott in this ballpark. He's seen the Braves over 1 inning in 2016. He'll face Jace Peterson to start the home 7th. Jace has grounded out and struck out. That punch out came in the 4th inning after the Braves loaded the bases against Colton Murray with 2 outs. Ball 1. Can't pitch any better than Josh Colmenter did tonight.
No, it's great. That's 3 excellent starts. Get him a run. By the way, Chan scanned the airwaves for us on Mike Hampton, and he is the bullpen coach for the Seattle Mariners. Did not know that. I don't know if a bullpen coach ever gets to pinch hit, but he would be a good choice.
I was going to say he's probably down there telling the waivers, well, this guy in this situation is going to be looking for a fastball, and when I was hitting, hey, keep an eye on the Mariners. They've got a shot. They're 2 out in the wild card.
And they've got 4 games left with the Oakland A's, which is to their advantage, one would think.
Their games are in Seattle. Two balls, 2 strikes for Jace Peterson, leading off the Braves 7th inning. Tie game 1 apiece. And that skipped up there for a full count. Difference in this game might come down to the bullpen performances. The Phillies' pen in September has been hit hard. The Braves' September relief work has been excellent. And there's a good start. Leadoff walk late in the game. And let's see what Rio Ruiz can do. Runner at first, nobody out. The Phillies have now issued 4 walks to the Braves. Colmenter didn't walk anybody in his 7 innings.
That wind is really whipping out toward right now.
Not close, and Ellis is going to talk to Marriott about that. $32,121 paid to see the game tonight.
That's great.
And they saw Josh Colmenter throw a great one.
Talking it over there with his catcher.
Ball 2. Braves need to draw 112,000 over their last 3 games to draw 2 million at home this year.
112.
112.
They can do that.
Yep. We're at 1,888,000 with tonight's 32,000 numbered crowd. Pitch. Generous call. 2-1.
Yeah, that was borderline. Usually don't get that one when you're all over the place. For a guy who's not throwing many strikes, he's paying a lot of attention to Jace, which might lead him to make a mistake to Rio.
Blake Lolly's on deck. He's scheduled to hit for Colementor. 2 balls and a strike. Runner goes. Good jump. Line drive caught at second. And that'll be an easy double play. Rio hit it right on the nose. But that's an easy double play. Tough break. 2 outs.
But if the second baseman's covering here, this is likely a gapper. They would have rolled forever. Might have scored a run. But Galvis was covering instead.
So just like that, 2 outs for Blake Lolly.
Ryan Snitker showing a lot of confidence in Lolly. This is his 7th pinch hit appearance.
Good rip at that one, but fouled back. 2 balls and a strike.
So the Tigers are winging their way to Atlanta with a lot on their mind.
Yep.
Trying to fight their way into a postseason spot, but knowing that even if they play well here in Atlanta, they may have to go home and play on Monday. After getting rained out today against Cleveland.
Tell you what, I wouldn't want to play the Braves right now.
No way.
And factor in the fact that the way the Tigers are built, they're an American League team. Their pitchers are going to have to hit.
That's
One of their
correct.
big hitters is going to be out of a lineup, which is a big disadvantage for them. So I don't envy the task of the Tigers. Norris and Whistler here tomorrow night. 3-2 pitch. Out of play.
And when they lose a bat, that's a big deal because they got a lot of them.
But like you said a moment ago, for the Braves, who are going to play it straight and play their A lineup, all hands on deck. Same story for the Tigers. I mean, they've got to win and get a little help in the process. See how it works out. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Line toward left and misjudged. That's over the head of Ashe. It's a 2-out double for Lolly.
Good at bat. Fouled off several pitches. He's hit the ball hard on several occasions since he got called up and should have more than just 2 hits to show for it. This is the second, and it was a screamer that Ashe froze on and had no shot to catch.
So Malik Smith is the scheduled hitter. Pete Mackanin will go get Michael Marriott, and we will see who strides in for the Phillies, trying to keep this game tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 7th.
At SunTrust Park, dugout seats are so close to the action, you'll feel like you're in the lineup. Dugout seats include access to the exclusive climate-controlled dugout lounges, perfect for beating the heat and cashing in your included $10 food and drink credit. And did I mention you are so close, you're practically in the game? Hey, Freddie. But it's the seats themselves that truly set this section apart. They'll be extra wide and fitted with airflow mesh, making them the first and only breathable ballpark seats anywhere. The airflow material is comfortable and it conforms to your body. And with 2 armrests per seat, you'll be sitting in luxury mere feet from all the action on the field. Pretty comfortable, don't you think, Dansby? All about how you can get this close to the action. Visit Braves.com/dugout.
That was Greer Howard. She does a great job with those SunTrust Park updates. And we will be hearing more about that the rest of this weekend as we check in and see Chase Darno back in action. He's the pinch runner for Blake Lally at second base. Now Malik Smith to face Luis Garcia, who has been hit hard.
Yeah, he gave up the home run to Tyler Flowers here Tuesday night. Upper 90s fastball and a slider.
One of Chase Darno's assets is his speed, but he's really been sidelined. He had a horrible plantar's wart on his foot that has taken about 3 weeks to get under control. It was so bad that he wasn't able to wear shoes for about 2 weeks, or at least shoes with backs covering the heel. But now that that's been taken care of, let's see if Malik Smith can bring him home with a go-ahead run.
Nobody holding him close, that's for sure. You can get a big lead.
Sharply hit to second, but that's going to take care of Malik's and the Braves, and Garcia bails out Marriott. We go to the 8th inning. Top of the order coming up for the Phillies. We're still tied. Join the Braves at Fantasy Camp this January and spend a week at ESPN's Wide World of Sports, training like a pro baseball player. From January 17th through the 22nd, 2017, participants spend every day learning the game through skill sessions and instruction from Braves alumni. Go to Braves.com/fantasycamp for more information. It is a blast. I've done it one time. It is fantastic. The camp participants are enthusiastic. I mean, they've got the kangaroo court, they've got the locker room, they've got the spread. You wear a real uniform.
I've never heard anyone ever say they didn't have a good time.
It's outstanding. As you look at Jose Ramirez on to pitch the 8th inning. No decision for Josh Colmenter tonight, so it truly has, Joe, turned into a battle of the bullpens.
It has, and tip of the cap again to Colmenter for his fine work. Now For Jose Ramirez, he worked here 2 nights ago, gave up a couple of hits, but no damage.
This is a key guy to get. And that went all the way to the screen. Ball 1 for Hernandez, who's 0 for 2 with a sacrifice.
Last 22 games, the Braves with a 5-run ERA advantage. .291 average, 15 homers to only 1 by the Braves bullpen over the last 22.
And the Braves pens work 17 more innings. In fact, that home run total is worth noting. I think the Braves have given up the fewest home runs in the National League in relief. And that has continued in September. Braves relief corps 7-3, a .284 ERA and 8 saves. So when the Braves starters, the young starters, have gone 5 or 5 1/3 this month, the bullpen has continued to step up.
This young man made the ball club out of spring training, scuffled a little bit, got sent back, rejoined the team. He factors strongly into the 2017 plans.
Close, but he didn't get the call. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Don't want to walk Hernandez. He's got 17 stolen bases. And he didn't. It's a line drive to center.
And give Hernandez credit. That was a 96 heater, roped back through the middle.
So let's see how the Phillies play it here. Galvis can handle the bat. He's been hit by a pitch. He has an infield hit. And he's also bounced out to second. Herrera and Joseph scheduled to follow. Let's see if Galvis thinks about a bunt. He did, but it's foul.
Thinking about bunting for a hit. Left early and didn't get it down.
Galvis has 8 sacrifice bunts. That's the most on the Phillies team. But he's behind a strike now, 0-1. Roll to the right side. Freeman's got it. There's one, and wisely Swanson put it in his back pocket. No chance to get Galvis, who runs well. But Freddie couldn't get the bunt down. Freddie Freeman got the force play. 1 on, 1 out.
Always good to cut down that lead runner when you've got a tie ball game. Both of these guys run well. Hernandez with 17 swipes, Galvis with 16. Brian Snitker perhaps opting for a left-hander here to pitch to Herrera.
So Ramirez gives up the leadoff hit, gets the ground out force play. He departs with 1 out in the top of the 8th.
is sponsored by your local Toyota dealers, Let's Go Places, the Georgia Lottery, and Zaxby's Indescribably Good.
1-1 game as we are approaching last call here at Turner Field. Just 3 more home games left. Game number 4 has been a doozy. We're tied at 1.
Ian Kroll on to work to Odubel Herrera. Ian's had a lot of work this year. And remember, he didn't start the season with the team. The Braves had a hard time trying to find a lefty in spring training, if you recall. Freddie Gonzalez said at the time he didn't think he'd ever started a season without a left-hander, but he might have to, because no one stepped forward in spring training. Well, once he got here, Ian really did a good job and has done a good job for the Braves since.
And you're exactly right, Joe. He joined the club May 10th, and since then Kroll's appeared in 62 games, second most in the big leagues, and 4 off the leader Brad Hand's total of 66. So he'll face Odubel Herrera, the Phillies center fielder. Herrera has the Phillies RBI. That came in the 3rd inning. It was a single that scored Jeremy Hellickson. One ball, no strikes. Things tightening up in St. Louis. Cardinals 3, Reds 2. Cincinnati has 2 men on, 1 out in that game.
I give the Reds a lot of credit. As bad as their season has been, they have played better, much better in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, their pitching has stabilized. They've gotten some good pitching performances. DeSclafani, Straley, all have pitched well. Ball 2. Again, Straley, a scrap heap find for them. He's won 14 games for the Reds. Pretty good cut, but Herrera fouled it away. 2-1.
I don't know if he's just late tonight, and that was 95, so that's no big surprise, except that it was a 2-0 count. He should have been ready to jump all over the fastball. But even against Colementor, he was hitting balls off the brand and off the end of the bat to left field. So I don't know if he's trying to inside out pitches and go to left field or not. It kind of looks that way.
Well, that's a close near balk move by Kroll.
It was.
But he got away with it. 2 balls and a strike. Wow, what an effective motion that was. He had Galvis breaking back to the first base bag, and it looked like he had Herrera in mid-hitch as that pitch came to the plate. And all Odubel could do is foul it away.
Mid-hitch, I like that. And that time it looked like he was set on pulling the ball and kind of flailed at that pitch away. So it looks like he's guessing location. Not successful yet.
Strike came out. Kroll takes care of Herrera. And now Tommy Joseph is going to be the hitter. 2 righties in a row on the Phillies lineup card.
And Kroll had one assignment, retire Herrera, and he did just that. So Mauricio Cabrera, who was warming up, appears to be ready to go. He'll become the third pitcher of the inning for Atlanta as we continue with a 1-1 game against the Phillies.
Sponsored by Georgia Power and the Home Depot. Braves baseball is sponsored by Georgia Power and the Home Depot.
Busy night on the roadways, quiet night on the base paths tonight. 1-1 game. And we'll be seeing plenty of signs like that the rest of this homestand. 3 games left. Tigers are in next. As Mauricio Cabrera will try to end the inning right here with Tommy Joseph, the Phillies first baseman.
Cabrera worked the 8th inning 2 nights ago, just a third of an inning, issued a walk, but also struck out a batter. Very good idea to throw over there before the first pitch. Fast runners sometimes think a new guy coming in is not paying attention.
One ball, no strikes. Mauricio's been a pleasant surprise for Atlanta. 38 homerless innings to start his career. He's allowed only 4 inherited runners to score, 4 out of 20. The pitch a ball, the throw to second, short hops, no chance to get Galvis. He swipes his 17th base. And again, we mentioned this earlier in the series. One focus of improvement for the Braves will be holding runners next spring.
No doubt. Big high leg kick. No chance for Anthony. Anthony was upset with himself because he made a short hop throw here, but he didn't have any chance at all there.
So a hit means a run, perhaps, as Joseph digs in. Hitters count 2-0. Strike call.
It's another one of those cases, Chip, where the infielders have got to try and knock the ball down if they can to prevent that runner from circling.
Chase Peterson did that beautifully in the 5th, robbing Galvis of a hit and catching Aaron Altair in a rundown to cut down a potential second run. When he has that, he is almost impossible to hit.
Good one there. Now 2-2. He can pretty much throw anything he wants.
99-mile-an-hour fastball pops straight back. Now the 2-2 pitch. Line drive left field, and Kemp is there. Joseph squared up a 99-mile-an-hour heater and hit a atom ball to left. Inning over. Freddie Freeman's due second in the 8th. That's our Toyota Key play. Dansby Swanson's first home run in his home ballpark, and his third of the year. That got the game tied, and he's going to lead off the 8th for the Braves. Swanson, Freeman, and Matt Kemp are coming up.
The home run ball right there.
Now that's a kid that caught the home run ball. They moved him from the outfield and gave him a front row seat. And did you notice he doesn't have the Georgia shirt on anymore? I wonder if they did make the trade.
No, it might have.
And we're told that Dansby Swanson's going to meet that young man and autograph the baseball after the game. How cool is that?
Very nice. Jean-Marc Gomez, the new pitcher for the Phillies. He's their closer normally. Came in last night and gave up a triple to Rio Ruiz, who later scored. But he's had a rough time of it lately, so they're using him here in the 8th instead.
And he's had company, as we've mentioned a couple of times. However, the 3 previous relievers for the Phillies have done a pretty good job. 3 innings, or excuse me, 3 hits in 3 2/3 innings, and only 1 run at the home run.
70th game for Gomez, and a lot of those were early. He's got to be running on fumes here late in the season. Phillies were off to a great start. He was getting a lot of saves, getting a lot of work, but I think it may have caught up to him.
Chopped foul. That'll bounce to the Phillies dugout railing. And Dansby has a 1-2 pitch coming again. Might be the final time we see Ryan Howard in Atlanta at Turner Field. Don't know whether he'll be back with the Phillies next year or not. And from a baseball standpoint, as well as he's hurt the Braves here, we say good riddance. But if it is his last appearance in a Phillies uniform here tonight, you tip your cap for a wonderful career, and what a wonderful representative for the Phillies organization. His hands are so big, he makes that baseball look like a grape.
Doesn't he, though?
Man. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Way outside. Full count. Remember, Freddie Freeman's on deck, and his hitting streak, his on-base streak, all on the line, perhaps in this 8th inning. That's headed for the stands. Foul. Will do it again.
The home run that Swanson hit tonight was on a 3-1 count. We've talked often about how he can ambush a fastball when he wants to, and he did, even though it wasn't a strike. But beyond that, in counts like this or leading off an inning, he's always put up a good fight to just try to get on base and try to use the whole field.
He took a close pitch out of the strike zone, and Gomez either can't believe he didn't swing, or he can't believe that wasn't called strike 3. Either way, it benefits the Braves. Leadoff walk with Freeman coming up. What a take.
What a take. Ellis tried to bring the glove up to make it look better, which is not going to influence Phil Cuzzy. The box track showed it was just a touch low.
Downstairs for Freeman. You like Freddie's chances in this situation. Again, his 30-game hitting streak and 46-game on base streak are in jeopardy here in the 8th. Wind blowing out toward right. The 1-1 pitch with Swanson at first. And now it's 1-2.
Might have swung at ball 2. Freddie 4 for 5 with a homer and a double off of him. So if he adds to that.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Matt Kemp is on deck. Nick Markakis to follow. The Braves trying to take the lead in the 8th and set it up for Jim Johnson, who's warming up in the pen. Swing and a miss. So barring extra innings, Freddie Freeman's hitting streak and on base streak will come to an end here in the 8th inning. 1 on, 1 out.
Well, we'll now see how Brian Snitker chooses to play it. Naturally, the way Kemp's been swinging the bat, you want him to have a shot to drive that run in. Another good pitch that didn't go Gomez's way.
Swinging a drive. That's hammered toward right. Altair back onto the warning track at the wall. Can't get it. It ricochets toward the infield. Here comes Dansby around third. He's going to score. Kemp doubles home Swanson. It's 2-1.
An opposite field rocket. And another double. And another RBI. This one just didn't get high enough to get out of here. And a huge ricochet off the wall that forced Altair to have to run it down. And with Dansby running, an easy RBI, and Matt knew it.
So the Braves cash in the leadoff walk. 107 RBIs for Kemp. 2-1 Atlanta. And now the Phillies will walk Markakis intentionally and pitch to Record, trying to get out of the inning with a double play ball. And that's another feature of this offense. And the way it's set up, if one man has a rough night, the guy behind him can pick him up. And that's exactly what Matt Kemp just did for Freddie Freeman.
Saw Ender with a helmet on. A little stretching. He may be coming in to run.
So there's the intentional walk. And it will be Inciarte at second base for Matt Kemp. What a big hit from Matt. A go-ahead RBI in the 8th inning. Ender, of course, will stay in the game defensively. So this is a switch that can help the Braves in more than one way.
Yeah, you're probably staying in place center, and Malik's go to left. But with only one out, chance to add on.
Good cut by Recker, who fouls it away.
I've said it before about Matt Kemp, that he just looks like he's having a good time. He's enjoying wearing a Braves uniform and getting that big hit there and clapping his way to second base. Another show of that.
.30 RBIs in his last 29 starts for Matt Kemp, and that clipped Recker on the way by. And look at Gomez. And all the Phillies can do is scratch their heads and pace. I mean, their pen is out of gas.
Before tonight, on this road trip, 2 games for Gomez, an inning and a third, 3 earned runs, and a blown save. And touched up tonight already.
A hit, 2 walks, and now a hit batter brings up Jace Peterson, who's looking for some redemption. Jace struck out in the 4th with the bases loaded. That time, however, there were 2 outs. And no place to put him. Ball 1.
He's given up at least 1 run in 6 of his last 7 outings. I'd say he's had it.
What a disappointing finish to what's been a great year for him. I mean, he really was one of their MVPs the first 4.5 months. And now it's 2-0. Appeal to third, no swing. Kemp's double puts the Braves in front 2-1. Chance to break it open here with 1 out. Sharply hit right field, a base hit.
Inciarte scores. Markakis will stop at third. It's 3-1 Atlanta.
Jace Peterson's history with the bases loaded had been real good coming into this season. Not as fortunate this season hitting with runners in scoring position, but just picked up one right with the bases loaded, I should say. He picked up one there with a sharp single.
So Ellis buying some more time for the Phillies bullpen. David Hernandez is the man throwing down there. Jim Johnson continues to ready in the Atlanta pen. So Rio Ruiz, the batter, he's 0 for 3. It's tough luck 0 for 3. His last at bat, he hit a rocket with a runner in motion, and it turned into a 7th inning double play. High hopper, miscommunication between first and second. Scores one. Wrecker around. He will score. Rio Ruiz picks up his first 2 RBIs in the big leagues. It's 5-1. And Hernandez and Joseph almost collided. They both pulled up, and the ball bounced right between them into right field.
I'm really surprised that Hernandez let this ball go through. He's the guy. And it was closer to Joseph, but Hernandez is the guy who's the infielder there, not Joseph, and Gomez could not believe it.
One will never know how differently this inning would have turned had the 8th pitch thrown to Dansby Swanson either been swung at or called a strike. Ball 4 turned into the start of a 4-run inning for Atlanta, and the Braves have broken it open. It's a 5-1 game. Another milestone for young Rio Ruiz, his first 2 RBIs. Out in force. He scored 2 of the 5 runs for Atlanta, and a big 8th inning for the Bravos. Peterson and Ruiz with run-scoring hits. Back to our Turner Field trivia question: what visiting players caught the most innings at Turner Field?
I'll go with Carlos Ruiz.
You're going to go with Ruiz? I'm going to think about it for a second as we introduce David Hernandez, the new Phillies pitcher.
And Emilio Bonifacio will pinch hit. Mike Redmond might be a choice, as much as he liked to catch here on occasion.
On certain days, he sure did. As Bonifacio bats, he's had some big pinch hits for the Braves.
He was a catcher for the Mets before Travis d'Arnaud.
It was Buck. It wasn't Mike. I mean, I wouldn't think Mike Piazza.
I don't think he did. I think he played enough here.
No balls. A strike.
He might have.
I'll tell you, I'll go with Piazza. You're going to go with Ruiz?
Yes.
Okay, I'll say Mike Piazza is my answer. And the trivia question: which opposing catcher has caught the most innings in Turner Field? Sure wish my partner would come up with an easier question. Pitch. His eye. Like, who's starting the game today for the Tigers? That would be
well, or how much chalk has been used in the history of Turner Field? Might as well be.
She's going to call Ed Mangan tomorrow morning. There's no doubt. She, of course, Gretchen Caney, the dominatrix of trivia, a slim, asterisk-laden 2-game advantage in trivia.
She
with
said we could
left.
appeal to the commissioner, but she didn't think that would hold much hope.
Probably not. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. There's out number 2. By the way, the Braves need a couple more guys to get on here, and Freddie would have another chance in a big Atlanta 8th. All right, so he's going with Ruiz. I'm going with Piazza. And the answer is, of course, a Philly. Mike Lieberthal. Forgot about Mike.
I didn't. I thought of Darren Dalton and Lieberthal, but I just thought Lieberthal may have caught too many innings over across the street.
He was a good player, too. We had number 2 and number 3.
How about that? Hang with him.
But as they say in trivia, all we care about is who's number 1. And guess what? We ain't number 1. We got to run the table just to finish 500 in trivia. So hopefully better luck against the Tigers. Going to go study Ty Cobb, Al Kaline, Denny McLain. With a quick turnaround tomorrow night. 1 ball, 1 strike from Alex. He's the 9th man to bat in the inning. All this started, as it so often does, with a leadoff walk in the 8th. Matt Kemp, a run-scoring hit. Peterson, a run-scoring hit. Ruiz brought home 2 with a single. Phillies head home. They've got the Mets. Washington has the Marlins, I believe, for their final 3 games.
That's correct.
And I can promise you that the Marlins probably need to get away from Miami for a few days after
I think so.
Jose Fernandez died in the funeral services today. Boy, were the Marlins first class in how they handled that awful tragedy. Their players, their staff, their organization should be very proud. Pitch is high, and Rio Ruiz is off and in scoring position.
First stolen base.
Let's keep it alive. Malik Stansby on deck. Freddie Freeman lurking in the hole. Pitch is upstairs. Full count. Don't know how differently this game would have turned out had Hellickson stayed in. He had to leave with injury. Phillies pen has given up all 5 Atlanta runs again.
Just like Tuesday night after the rain.
Strike three, outside corner. Generous call. Malix thought it was way off the plate. It appeared to be, but that's going to send our game to the 9th inning. Matt Kemp broke the tie with a run-scoring double. It's 5-1 Atlanta. Tonight's State Farm instant replay.
Well, it was the shot that put the Braves on top just moments ago in the 8th inning after Dansby had led off with a walk, a 1-out double by Matt Kemp off the wall. That led to a 4-run inning. Since August 1st, the National League East ranks the Braves 3 games back the Mets for first place, if you were to look at it that way, and first in all those offensive categories, and 5 more runs tonight.
So Alex Smith moves from center to left. Ender Inciarte checks in to play center field. Jim Johnson is on to work the 9th inning. Not a save situation. The lead's too big for Jim, but he'll tune up for the Tigers tonight. As the first pitch bounced to the left side. Ruiz has it, cuts it off, throws across in time. 1 out. Nice play.
First big league start. I'd say he's had himself a pretty good night.
A couple of nice plays at third base. His first 2 RBIs. And now Jim Johnson. Look at those impressive numbers. Talk about bullpen success comes from the 9th inning moving forward. Well, 16 for 16 and a sub-1 ERA means the 9th inning's been in excellent hands. And remember, at the trading deadline, or after the trading deadline, I should say, a team put a claim in on Jim Johnson, but the Braves couldn't come to terms with that club, and he's still here. And heck, the way he's pitching, he might be back.
There might be a lot of teams that wish they had upped their ante, maybe even at the trade deadline before waiver claim.
How about the Giants? How about Toronto? The way their bullpens are scuffling right now. But the Braves happy to have Jim pitching the last inning and mentoring Cabrera and Ramirez and Kroll and others in relief. He's done an excellent job.
Baltimore shut out Toronto.
Wow.
That's tough to do, especially in Toronto.
And that pitch for Jim Johnson has been a revelation, hasn't it?
That slow curve?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Beauty. Just struck out Ashe, who's 0 for 4 again against Atlanta. And A.J. Ellis will be the batter. Remember, Ellis and Johnson were teammates last year with the Dodgers. We'll see who has the advantage here in the 9th. As this 32,000 plus crowd rises to its feet, the Braves are now away from their 10th win in 11 games. And if this is the appetizer for 2017, I can't wait for the entree.
Pretty tasty.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Guys are coming to the ballpark every night expecting to win.
To center field, a base hit. So the advantage goes to A.J. Ellis, who turned around a 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
I remember our pal, the late great Ernie Johnson Sr. always said he thought catchers should have an advantage over pitchers that they've caught before. They know their stuff. They know how they like to work. So Ernie was right again.
Altera 1 for 3 night. Ellis takes second. Why not? Reds have tied the Cardinals, by the way. That game's in the 9th inning in St. Louis. The Giants are home to Colorado. The Rockies lead 1-0 in the first. Dodgers and Padres no score in the 4th. Cardinals have the Pirates for the final games of the year. The Giants have the Dodgers. The Mets have the Phillies. Advantage New York. And he's gone 3-0 to Altair with 2 outs. Braves are winning the battle of the bullpens. Let's not forget the great outing by Josh Colmenter. 7 innings of 6 hit 1 run ball tonight. And a shot to center field, a base hit. Ellis around third. The Braves will concede that run. It's a 5-2 score now, as Altair has a 2-hit night, and that's his 22nd RBI.
And again, he hit one right on the button. Of course, 3-1. Knows he's going to get a fastball. Braves up by 4. And he didn't miss it.
And Jimmy Paredes will be the hitter. Johnson retired him for the final out in game 1. He struck him out. That was the Braves' big comeback from a 6-0 deficit. They won that one 7-6, won 12-2 last night, winning 5-2 tonight. And that ball was fouled off the glove of Record. Didn't see a foul ball signal, and what was weird about that play, the strike was called, and Paredes on the follow through actually hit the ball toward the Braves on deck circle.
That's what happened. Was it 2 nights ago? When people were trying to figure out why was he being called out by Tom Hallion. The same thing happened. He knocked the ball out of Tyler Flowers' glove.
So Altair takes second on that pitch in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Johnson got the first 2 outs. Back-to-back Phillies hits. And made it a 5-2 game.
Isn't it crazy how often we talk about an unsafe situation for a closer who comes in and has a 4-run lead, and it's not quite as sharp as we've seen him in a safe situation, although he got the first 2 outs with no problem.
Yogi Berra was so right. 90% of this game is half mental, he said. So a quick chat from Record. 2 balls and a strike. That was thrown with some anger. Now the Braves were a strike away. 2-2. quite a take. Full count.
I don't know that he could do anything else. I don't know if he could have even gotten the bat to that. He delivered one down the middle to Altair that he hit hard. Runner at second, a few more signs. Just drop that hook in there.
He did. How sweep it is. The Braves finish off the Phillies. A 5-2 final score. Matt Kemp with the go-ahead run-scoring hit in the 8th inning. Peterson and Ruiz, the two youngsters, follow with run-scoring hits of their own. And the Braves have won their 10th.